And the fun continues. Reading with Robin here for A Mighty Blaze. My next guest is Elizabeth. I can't edit. I just spoke to Elizabeth. My next guest is Ariel Lawhon. And this book, Code Name Helene, is just out today. I'm so happy I have a finished copy here to show you because it is so gorgeous. Ariel, did I say Ariel? I did.
Yes, yeah.
Ariel Lawhon is a critically acclaimed New York Times bestselling author of historical fiction, all of our favorite books. She's the author of The Wife, The Maid, and the Mistress, Flight of Dreams, and I Was Anastasia. The new book, Codename Helene, is just out today, and it is Pub Day Tuesday, and we're here to celebrate. Her books have been translated into numerous languages and have been library reads, One Book, One County, Indie Next, Costco, and Book of the Month Club selections. She is the co-founder of SheReads.org and lives in the rolling hills outside Nashville, Tennessee, with her husband, 4 sons, Black Lab, and a deranged Siamese cat. She splits her time between grocery store shopping and the baseball field. And Ariel, it is such a treat to have you and Codename Helene. Oh my goodness. Happy Pub Day to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
It is such a treat. Wait, so are your 4 boys? I don't know how old anybody is, but obviously we're all home. Are the boys all home?
All home, all the time, all hungry, all the time.
Thus the grocery shopping, although I don't know, I mean, here in Rhode Island, we're mostly down to delivery, and I know everybody is different everywhere, but how old are the boys?
16, 15, 12, and 11.
So they're eaters.
Oh my gosh. Our grocery bill is immoral. It's not okay.
Are they good cooks? Are they helpful? Or is it like
They are. I'm teaching them to cook slowly. So they all have a small number of things that they can take care of. And I don't cook anything but dinner. So they take care of their own breakfast, their own lunch. That's fine. It's just the amount of food that goes out is staggering.
I can only imagine 4 boys, and especially those ages, you know? So those are peak ages, but it's a very special time. And it's, thinking about all of us sort of being home, and a lot of people have been saying, especially with the teenagers, they're not out with their friends, so they're all around, and then they have each other. So they can't be, right? Your boys have each other, so that's something.
If you count not bored as are currently fighting, then yes, they are not bored.
Keeping busy, and how's the cat and dog faring with the boys?
Oh, they're fine. They're very chill.
Somebody has to be. And so you're in Nashville, so I know Parnassus is your store, and
yes.
I had the pleasure of being there last fall. And
oh, fun.
Yeah, I did an event with Lisa. Oh my goodness, I am overstimulated with books.
I
and
understand
all of that. Yeah, Rush. Why am I blank?
Oh, Lisa Patton.
Of course, Lisa Patton.
She's a friend of mine. I love her.
Adore her to pieces. As she's watching this, I'm sorry. At least I knew. And I was actually supposed to come back and do an event that was canceled in March.
Okay.
But I was there. Yeah, I was at Bellmead Country Club with her. We did it in October, and I adore Lisa and Rush. And anyway, so yeah, you live in a special place.
Love it here.
Yeah. So what are they doing? Are they doing something for Pub Days via the bookstores? I know everybody's doing something different.
A little bit something different. I'm obviously doing the best I can. So I'll send book plates to anybody that wants them. I'm sending some to the bookstores.
Oh, good.
Trying to do some sort of Instagram or Facebook Live events with some of the bookstores. We're just adapting. That is our middle name these days. We will adapt.
Yeah, and I love to tell the readers, if you'd like, when you have such a specific hometown bookstore, and Parnassus Books we all love, and you'd like a copy of Codename Helene, I'm suggesting people order them you can order them from your favorite indies, but it's especially meaningful when they come from, I'm sure this is would be or is up front and center when you walk into Parnassus. And Ariel will do signed book plates, which is
Absolutely.
a special treat. And go to ariellawhon.com for more information. And from there, you can find her on all of the social channels. I have a question about your inscription.
Yes.
Which I love, your dedication. You have several, but I love your family, of course, and everybody is important here, but I'm very curious about Sally Burgess, who told me we could no longer be friends if I didn't write this story next. So I got to hear the story about Sally.
Sally is actually how I first heard of Nancy Wake. And as you know, this is the story of Nancy Wake. She was a real woman. She was an Australian expat that became a freelance journalist, and then a member of the French Resistance, and then a spy for the British, and then a military leader during World War II. And I'd never heard of her. And I'm ashamed to say that I'd never heard of her because she was remarkable, and she ended up becoming one of the most decorated women of World War II. So she should be front and center in our history books. She should be front and center in our journalism courses, but she's not, because I think she's not American and she's not a man. So to get back to Sally, I was on tour for my second book, and I was in Buffalo, New York in a hotel room all by myself waiting for my event. And I got an email from Sally, who I've known forever. She is the mother of my oldest friend, and she's like a second mother to me. And she sent me this email, very bossy and wonderful. And she said, Ariel, I don't know if you've ever heard about Nancy Wake, but she's an Australian legend, and she would know because she was born in Tasmania. Sally was. And she's like, I think you'd love her. I think you'd love her story. And if you don't write about her next, we can no longer be friends. I don't love being told what to do. You could ask my real mother. So I technically didn't take her advice. I wrote I Was Anastasia next. But I held on to this idea because I knew it was remarkable. And as soon as I finished Anastasia, I began working on this, and the rest is history.
I love that. And, it's funny because a lot of writers will get, and I know at events, people will go up and go, you know what you should write about? A lot. And you've got certainly tons of ideas. You write historical fiction. It's these stories that come out are just.
Oh, you froze on me.
Oh, yeah, sometimes it freezes. Endlessly fascinating, these people that we haven't necessarily heard about. And these stories continue to come out, and they are mostly, probably almost exclusively women who do these remarkable things. And we can think of a lot of books that have come out recently where you're like, wow, they did this, these mathematicians or these decoders or the code breakers, so many of these things. So, but this came from somebody who you adore and trust, but like you say, bossy, like you're writing about Anastasia, and it's like, well, okay, but clearly it resonated with you. And I get that a lot. I'm sure every writer of historical fiction does. And the problem is I already have so many stories that I can't write them all. So usually if somebody's very passionate about an idea, I will say, that is a great idea. You should write it. This one, however, I wasn't letting go of. I could tell immediately that it was special. That is so special. Yeah, I know. That's right. It's a great book for you to write, or you have plenty of ideas. It's an interesting situation, but this one really stuck with you. And I see you have the copy. Is that your copy behind you?
Yes. Oh, back there. Yes, those are mine.
That's one of the fun parts, Ariel, of being in everybody's home. I'm like a little bit of a snoop. What do you got? What's back there? What do you?
I wish my husband is building these shelves at the moment for me. This is my office, and he's not quite done. Otherwise, I would give you a full tour of the shelf behind me, but it's under construction.
That's cool. And he's got plenty of time now to do it, probably.
Yes.
We'll come back and visit with you another time. So talk about the research. One of the things I thought that was really cool was all of the code names that she had, that Nancy had, and how do you even keep it straight when those are your own code names, who you are, and a little bit about Nancy, and I mean, a socialite spy. That's like, you had me at socialite, but socialite spy.
Not a phrase you hear every day.
No, it's not.
The research was really fun. There were several biographies written about Nancy Wake, so I was able to piece her life together. But my favorite of them, to be honest with you, was her memoir that she published in 1985. So it was in her voice, her memories direct from her mind. And it was fascinating to revisit not just this moment in history, but a very, very unique woman. She was brassy and bold, and she cursed a lot, and she drank a lot, and she could order thousands of French soldiers around and have them do her bidding. It's amazing. It was amazing to me because there were any number of female spies during the war, and they did remarkable things. But I've only come across a small handful of female military leaders. And to me, that was the thing that set her apart. It made her, it made her an ideal character to write about. I couldn't have invented someone this interesting. And she just sprung out of the ground, fully formed.
It's so cool, like when you hear about, whether it's in a book or there's a movie and they're talking about the characters or where they, or play anything, and you think about these people like that, you couldn't draw them. Like a lot of it not needing to be exaggerated. And the tone in the book, there was a lot of playful, I can get that she was a funny person. Like I get that sense of humor came through. So, which is really fun when you're reading about something and, there's espionage and like, there's just so much tension and worry, but then there's the humor. And
yes.
Chatting with Ariel Lawhon, Code Name Helene, came out today. It's Happy Pub Day, and it's Reading with Robin for A Mighty Blaze. Visit Ariel's site at ariellawhon.com and follow her, friend her, like her, tag her, everything about her. It's all about these brand new books, and historical fiction fans, of which there are so many. Do not miss Code Name Helene and book clubs. I mean, book clubs love your books.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And do you meet with them? Is that something?
I do. As I'm able, Skype. I have FaceTimed with several. That's always fun.
Yeah.
As I'm able, if it's here locally, if it's within like 30 minutes or so, I try to get there. Just
now you'd have to stand 20. Now it's like, I just read it's now like 27 feet, not 6 feet away. That can't
27?
That's what I read on New York Post. I don't even know how to measure 27 feet. Or 25. 6 I get, it's just
these are strange times. It occurred to me the other day, like my mother's generation, it was, where were you when JFK was shot? And then my generation, it was, where were you on 9/11? But for our kids, it will be, where were you during the quarantine? It is that big of a deal, that traumatic in a lot of ways.
Yes, life-changing, defining an era. We start 2020, you figure, okay, now it's 2020. I was looking back on some of the posts, like, 2020, it's our year, and, we're going into the next decade, and I don't know if anybody, jinxed anything. For sure, I don't think that
at least it didn't happen in 2012, right? When the, what was it? The Mayans predicted the end of the world was. This would have been bedlam.
Exactly. It's so hard to remember who's predicted the end of what, when, there's so much, those are the things I just like, but yeah, there was.
You can't even pay attention to that.
I can barely pay attention to the news, but that just came through. So while Ariel can't visit your book club in person, even if you're 30 miles away now, unless you're out on the lawn, and everybody's spread. I have
lawn party in different corners.
I do have a vision of doing that, and the weather's getting nicer here, of spreading people out on the lawn, some kind of book club discussion, just because it's nice to see, this is great, and getting to do interviews on camera, and thank goodness for Zoom, but it's it's just a different connection, but we're making it work, and it's Pub Tuesday, and it's Code Helene. Also, when it's historical fiction, it's always interesting to me, and there's so much we don't know about, obviously, this piece of history, because you don't ever want to give anything away, but we wouldn't. But talk about some of the characters and the love interests, maybe, and what the reader should know.
Excellent question, actually. So there's Nancy. Obviously, she's the main character. Primarily, everyone else in the book falls into two categories. Her husband, who there's really, to me, I thought it was fun and lovely love story woven throughout of how Nancy meets her husband and sort of their courtship and marriage and how that was impacted by the war. I love that part of the story. There are a handful of interstitials throughout the book told from Nancy's husband's perspective. So that is the only other point of view that the story is told from. All of the other characters, however, are either Nancy's colleagues or her enemies, and they're all male. Yeah. Her friends throughout the war, her closest friends were men. These were British soldiers and French soldiers that went into battle not just with her, but under her command. And the other characters are the men, either German or French, because there were many French collaborationists who were trying to stop Nancy, who were trying to capture her, who were trying to kill her. Throughout the course of her work in France during the war, she became the most wanted person by the Gestapo. And this was throughout the war in any theater. She was their number one target, and the Gestapo put a 5 million franc price on her head. Wow. Yes, it is staggering the amount of damage she was able to do to the German war effort. And it was amazing how badly they wanted her dead.
Yeah, would stand to reason. And was a lot of this reading in her memoir?
Oh, yes.
Like now, of course, I'm fascinated by that. You know, I would love to read that. 1985.
It's called The White Mouse, and it's by Nancy Wake. It is out of print, so it's hard to get your hands on a copy. I don't know if there are digital copies available. I have a hard copy because I like to write in my research material. And so I found one, I don't know, somewhere.
So had Sally,
hard to come by, really fun reading.
Well, I wrote it down. Had Sally Burgess read the memoir? Is that where you decided, like, she told you? Is that
I don't think so. She grew up in Tasmania, so this was something that was taught to her at school. She knew. She grew up knowing about Nancy Wake. And then, of course, she knew me as an author, and she'd wondered why there hadn't been a novel about Nancy, and therefore she connected the dots, and here we are.
Isn't that amazing? And how long did this one take you? I mean, it's quite a beefy book.
This one, actually, I think from committing to the idea to sending in the finished draft was about 14, 16 months.
Wow. Okay.
So fast.
No, I had a feeling, I mean, just with when the books have come out and your fans are waiting for books. And I'm talking with Ariel Lawhon, and visit her at ariellawhon.com. This is Reading with Robin for A Mighty Blaze. And I know that you have The Frozen Rivers next. Did I read that?
Yes.
Not to rush anything, but your fans just your readers want to know what's coming out. And that's the thing there. I just loved reading all of the things online about people getting excited or people posting about it. That's such a fun thing. And
it is fun. It makes the solitary work of writing much easier.
Yeah. And do other readers send you other ideas? I mean, not everybody, wait till they hear about what Sally Burgess. You're not all Sally Burgess.
Listen, I know Sally, and I know better than to ignore her. That would be taking my life in my hands, but I'm not stupid. So she has a special place. Yeah. Primarily, it falls under the category of, oh, that's a great idea. You should write it.
Exactly. You should write it. And what are you reading? Is historical fiction one of your favorite genres?
It is. I love it. I love learning something new. I have this theory that we all have gaps in our education. Nobody graduates with a full, perfect education knowing everything. And I'm not unique in that. I have gaps in my education. And every time I've written a novel, it's given me an opportunity to learn about something that I didn't know before. Yeah. Either jazz era New York City. One book was set entirely on the Hindenburg, Russian Revolution, World War II. It lets me continue my own education as an adult.
That's so cool. And do your boys read your books?
No. It's like, ew, Mom. It's not a real book. Mom wrote it. Do what?
They'd be ahead of the curve in school. Especially be able to go and say, did you know this piece of history? And you have the teacher just looking like, I don't know. Is that, yeah, my mom wrote about it. I think that would be so cool. So what are some of your favorite books that you're reading now?
Well, gosh, I love anything by Diane Setterfield.
Yeah.
I love anything by Diana Gabaldon or Louise Penny. I love Deanna Rayburn's Veronica Speedwell series. I love mysteries. Agatha Christie's an all-time favorite.
Yeah.
At the moment, it might sound a little strange. I'm rereading some of my favorite books. I think it's a comfort thing.
Absolutely.
It's familiar. I know the good guys win in the end, and I need that sense of big sweeping drama, but also I know this is going to be okay.
I like that. No, I don't think that's strange at all. A lot of people are sort of either revisiting favorites or getting back to the ones that they always thought they wouldn't have time for. But I think that makes perfect sense because we need to be comforted, whether it's music. I'm listening to a lot of my old music, cooking old food, not new food.
I know what you mean.
Probably enjoyed
favorite recipes.
Absolutely, ones from growing up. And
I've been making a lot of the food that my grandmother made when I was a kid. It hadn't even occurred to me probably until now that I'm like, oh, that's a comfort thing.
It's absolutely. What's one of your favorite recipes of your grandma's?
Sorry, I have people very quietly dancing in the background trying to distract me.
If you want backup dancers, I love that.
They're doing the walk like an Egyptian moves through the living room.
I'm happy to have them back you up because or the dog or the cat, tell them, that'll scurry them away. Just say, you're invited on the show. That's been the most fun doing these interviews in people's homes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've had a lot of things happen just as they are, and that's the kind of interview I always like to do anyway. And
absolutely
get a glimpse into a different world. And who doesn't want to see Walk Like an Egyptian? They're not doing Steve Martin's King Tut. They're doing Walk Like an Egyptian, the Bangles. Okay.
Yes. Which, by the way, when I was in 8th grade, I did a lip-synced Battle of the Bands to that song, and we won.
Awesome.
By golly.
That's awesome. Those are the greatest memories. Did the kids know that about you? Did they know you won?
No, they would be mortified. They would not be impressed.
Ariel Lawhon with endless talents. I won't. Next time we do this, let's do some lip syncing. I think so. Wait, what were you cooking? No, I didn't get to finish.
Oh, my grandmother used to make these bran muffins. Each muffin probably weighs 112 pounds. They're the heaviest things you've ever seen in your life. I loved them as a kid, and I've been making them a lot over the last few weeks.
Do you share recipes, or were they other secrets? Will you post it?
Sure, absolutely.
I love bran muffins, and I have not made one in a long time. So I know there's sometimes family recipes, so I wouldn't.
No, I'm not worried about them. These are very, very tasty. They're very dense, but very tasty.
My family will love them. So Ariel Lawhon, historical writer extraordinaire, baker, and lip sync winner. It's been such a treat to have you.
Thank you so much.
Blaze, and congratulations on Pub Day. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Enjoy all.
Thank you very much, and stay safe. Everybody stay safe.
Everybody stay safe.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.